Welcome back to Guru Beauty. I am Jodie and today I'm doing a drugstore foundation review for you. This is a brand new foundation from Maybelline, available very widely, and it's called their Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation. This one contains octinoxate sunscreen and according to Australian labelling is broad spectrum SPF 20. So if you'd like to see how this foundation applies, how it lasts throughout the day, and what my thoughts and recommendations are for this new foundation, keep on watching. First of all, a little bit about the product. It comes in a 20 ml glass bottle. 20 mils is less than the normal 30 mils of foundation, so do bear that in mind when you're weighing this one up for value. It retails for $21.95 here in Australia at Priceline. Obviously the equivalent, if you are comparing pricing, it would be over $30 for 30 mils of this product. It does come in a little glass bottle and it's a very interesting applicator. Here you basically have like a dropper that's not a dropper. This is just a solid sort of plastic applicator. The idea of this is that you can apply it directly to your face. However, for hygiene purposes, I'd recommend that you apply this to the back of your hand and then use your fingers or a brush or a sponge to apply it to your face. It is available in 8 different shades, at least here in Australia, and my NC25 skin is very well matched to the 40 nude shade, and that is the 3rd lightest shade. So there are 5 shades that are darker than this available in the range, which is pretty good for drugstore. This is one of those foundations that is very watery, very liquidy to the touch. When you do apply it to the back of your hand after shaking very well, you can see it just applies in a drop and it'll drop and run down my hand. This is really a new generation of foundations coming out from many different brands, this kind of liquid fluidy texture. Urban Decay has had one out for quite a while now. Of course, the Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua has been out for quite a while now as well, but there's a slew of these liquid foundations that have come out recently. We've got one from YSL, we've got one from Dior, we've got one from NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. I reviewed that recently. I'll tell you now, it wasn't a favorable review, but I will include a link to that foundation review down below. A lot more expensive, and to be honest, bottom line, I really very much prefer the Maybelline Dream Wonder foundation. So a little bit about their product claims. Basically they claim that this is a very lightweight foundation that's going to have a very natural finish. So they describe it as a lightweight liquid for perfect coverage yet the most natural finish. They describe the coverage as light to medium, they describe the finish as a natural finish, and they describe it as being suitable for normal skin. So that's great. I have sort of oily combination skin, and if something's not decent on oil control, I will get breakthrough, I will get foundation caking up. I also have a lot to cover, so I do want at least a medium coverage foundation, and despite the fact that they describe this as a light to medium coverage foundation, I find that this coverage is medium with one layer, buildable to a medium full, and you'll see that in the application section. They basically say you'll never have to compromise on a foundation again with the new Dream Wonder foundation from Maybelline, our silkiest foundation ever. The feeling of this foundation is something you've never experienced. You'll be completely surprised by the fluid and silky texture, so soft and weightless, it blends perfectly into your skin, feels smooth and never cakes. I would actually vouch for all of that. I found all of that to be true, which is very surprising because I was pretty doubtful. The lightweight formula contains concentrated pigments, giving you perfect coverage that's buildable. A little goes a long way with only a few drops needed to achieve a flawless natural finish. I can vouch for all of those things. I've been so pleasantly surprised by this foundation after being so devastated about the NARS Luminous foundation. But I have found for my 38-year-old skin, which has fine lines, it has pores, it needs a decent coverage to cover the hyperpigmentation and freckles on my face, and it also does have oily breakthrough throughout the day if I don't have a decent oil controlling foundation. All of that, plus I need it to last all day and I want it to look a little bit hydrating and healthy on my aging skin. This foundation fits the bill. Honestly, it does a really great job. So I am going to cut now to the application. I will show you what it looks like, how it goes on, how it lasts throughout the day, and I'll be back at the end to share with you a little bit more and final recommendations about this foundation. Starting off with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Primer. I'm not sure if they still make that or not. Giving the Dream Wonder a really good shake and applying that now from the back of my hand
with my fingers onto my face. And then I am going to actually blend this in with my fingers today. Often with these fluidy foundations, fingers work really, really well, but this product is just so easy that it really does apply just as well with a sponge, with a brush, anything at all.
As I'm smoothing it on with my fingers, I can feel that it's got a silicone-y slip to it. It feels very smooth, it feels very slippery, it feels very soft on the skin. Having just applied one layer of the Dream Wonder foundation, I would say it feels like it definitely has a silicone-y component to it. It definitely feels slippery on the skin with that silicone. It definitely feels very smooth on the skin and very, very easy to blend out with that fluidy, watery type texture all over the face. I'm not getting the same sort of streakiness and pulling in the pores that I was getting with, say, like the NARS All Day Luminous foundation. So whilst it has that same watery texture, it's definitely not applying the same way. This is much, much easier to blend. It looks nicer on the skin, and I'm still getting that lovely medium coverage with just sort of one layer of application. The next thing I'm going to do is to shake the product again. Use a foundation brush. This one is from Shiseido, just to spot apply some of this foundation to areas where I want a little bit of extra coverage, where I have a little bit more pigmentation or acne marks, just to see how this foundation is going to build up. Is it going to cake? Is it going to build nicely? We shall see.
You can see as I'm applying it that this foundation is building up the coverage. You can see the hyperpigmentation disappearing beneath where I'm applying it. This brush does a great job, so do fingers, and there's no caking up of this foundation. It really does just build beautifully.
So I have been able to build up that coverage in certain areas using this brush. So definitely I would say the coverage at this point is your medium to full. So very, very pleased with the finish of it right now. It looks very, very natural. You can see it's not particularly glittery or dewy. It's like a demi-matte finish. It's not, you know, it hasn't sucked all the moisture and all the life out of my face. Everything does sort of look smoothed. It's not exacerbating my pores. I've got lovely coverage. I've got a decent amount of smoothing, and the finish is lovely. So I really couldn't be happier at this point with the foundation. I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup. I'll be back to let you know how it's settled, and we'll see how it goes throughout the day. Okay, I am all applied and the foundation is still looking lovely. I'm still getting that fantastic coverage out of it. You can see that the foundation probably has gotten a little bit dewier over time. I have got highlight on my cheekbones, bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, but I am going to put a little bit of powder just in the T-zone to keep this foundation looking great all day. I will be using a Maybelline product. This is their SuperStay 24-hour waterproof powder, and I'm using the shade number 10 Ivory. It is a very light shade, but because I'm applying it to my T-zone, I do want to go lighter rather than darker. Using a really loose fluffy brush, just applying it around my nose to the center of my forehead, and that should do it. I'll just go up each jawbone, but that's it. I'll leave my cheeks and temples alone, and we'll see how this goes throughout the day. I'll be back at the end of the day to let you know how it's worn. After a very long 9-hour day, I am back to share with you how the Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation is looking, and I honestly could not be happier. I have not touched up this foundation throughout the day. You'll recall that I had some highlighter on my cheekbones. That's still coming through. I'm still getting a fantastic medium to full coverage from this foundation. It hasn't broken up, it hasn't caked, it hasn't patched off in any kind of way. It just looks fantastic 9 hours down the track. It certainly hasn't oxidized on my face. I don't feel like I look orange, and everything still looks lovely, smooth, luminous and covered. I really have no complaints with this foundation. Do recall that I am testing this using the Instant Age Rewind Primer Skin Transformer, and I did use that very, very lightest dusting of the Maybelline SuperStay 24-hour waterproof powder. So in combination with that, I have also used it with other primers with no powder, etc. Same result with this foundation. Really, really easy to use. I'm just so impressed with this foundation. Really, really impressed. 2 guru thumbs up. So there you have it. That's how the foundation lasted on my sort of oily combination skin throughout the day. Do I like this foundation? Yes, I like it a lot. It applies beautifully, it lasts beautifully throughout the day. I love the way this feels, I love the way this covers, I love the way that they don't overpromise on the coverage, but yet it builds beautifully and it doesn't cake. I love the finish, not only on application, but also how it lasts throughout the day. The packaging's fine. I yeah, don't mind it at all. The value is, you know, probably mediocre for a drugstore formulation. In terms of the finish, I think that this makes my skin look wonderfully hydrated and luminous throughout the day. It's wonderfully smoothing. I think it's definitely flattering to my pores and fine lines. I love the fact that it's got the SPF 20 broad spectrum sunscreen, but the one proviso is the ingredient list, and I do want to let you know about this because it is important. The inactive ingredients include, in order here, we've got dimethicone, we've got cyclohexasiloxane, we've got isododecane, followed by alcohol DENAT. But it's the alcohol DENAT that I want to draw your attention to. That is drying on the skin. It's not great for your skin. If you have dry skin, you certainly don't want to be drying it out further with alcohol. If you have oily skin, your oil production can go into overdrive when you do introduce alcohol to your skin. The alcohol component in this makes it wonderful feeling. It feels very light, it evaporates, it blends in very nicely. The alcohol, you know, evaporates very quickly and makes this product feel nice and light on your skin. But think about that. You do want to think about the ingredients in your skincare, and you want to think about the ingredients in your makeup. The alcohol DENAT is the one thing that makes me, you know, definitely want to let you know about so that you're aware of it. But, you know, I love the way that this does perform. You may find because of that alcohol that your skin is a little bit dried out, or it goes into oil production overdrive. So keep an eye on that. Think about that. How does your skin react to alcohol? When you actually smell the product and you open up the bottle, you certainly can smell the alcohol in it. It's not a heavily fragranced product, but you can smell the alcohol. I don't really notice it as I'm putting it on. I certainly don't notice it after I've applied it, but do beware of the alcohol. Unfortunately, this isn't the first drugstore product that I have loved on my skin that does contain alcohol and can be drying. So beware of that. But otherwise, if that doesn't bother you, this is definitely a foundation worth checking out. If you have been, you know, lured to these really lightweight, watery type foundations with the promise of great coverage and a nice natural feel, and you've been disappointed, this definitely is one to check out. If you've got skin like mine that requires a bit of smoothing, also requires some decent coverage without caking up or pooling into pores, this is a fantastic one if you don't mind the alcohol. That is about it from me. I hope that you enjoyed. Please let me know down below what your experience has been with the Maybelline Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation if you have tried it. I will just let you know that this video has nothing to do with Maybelline, nothing to do with Priceline. It's not sponsored or has been discussed in any way with any company. This is just my own personal opinion as a consumer, just like you. So I hope that you can appreciate that. I hope that it helps many of you out there. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a gorgeous day, and don't forget, you are beautiful. Yes, you are. Don't forget to just worry about looking it. Make sure you be it, and I will see you again really, really soon. Bye.